Nina Turner's interview on Status Quo with Jordan Sheridan is what we're going to be covering. So let's look at it and catch some of the things that she mentions in this video.
Former Ohio State Senator, former chairwoman, co-chair of the Bernie Sanders campaign, former president of Our Revolution, unbossed, the Young Turks. It's on 4:00 Eastern, I believe.
Yes, you're absolutely right.
Yes.
So people go to YouTube, Unbossed, Nina Turner, check me out.
I hate to start this way because I think several interviews we've done, I've had to start this way. But obviously what's going on in Memphis is capturing America's attention. Tyre Nichols was a 29-year-old who, I think it's accurate what his lawyer said, saying he was treated like a human piñata. I know you're a CNN contributor. I want to ask you because I just hear this narrative across cable news and the media that this was kind of like an exception. This was just bad policing. It's the training. They didn't have, where was the supervisor? A lot of stuff that frankly sounds like bullshit to me. I think this is not the exception. And I think a lot of this kind of beating happens. We just don't see it on camera.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Jordan. I mean, I covered this yesterday on my show. I'm broken up all day today. I've just been in a haze, and certainly nothing compared to Tyre's family, what his mother, his father, the rest of his family members are enduring. But I can tell you, as a Black woman in America and a Black mama of a Black son, I can definitely relate so much. So it's just like a heaviness, today for so many of us. This is.
I did want her to be able to say that part, and then I'm going to fast forward because I didn't want to, allow her to say what she wanted to say about that since they started that way. And now let's get to the main part.
I want to ask you also, because obviously, a lot of attention is to the worst part of that video. We played some of it, but the beginning of that is like so many altercations.
Again, I want to get to more of the political things here, but this was hot. This was just happening when they did this interview, and that's why
this was a night that probably doesn't have great memories for you. But want to play a clip from our interview, April, I believe, or May, I forget. You lost to Congresswoman Shontel Brown. You did cause a little bit of a stir that night, though. Let's play the clip.
Am I dreaming, or did you just announce a run for president?
Well, I said 2024, here we come. So I'm going to leave that for other people's imagination. But I said California got something to say about this. Iowa got something to say about this. Nevada got something to say about this.
Well, let me ask you, would you consider running as an independent rather than in the Democratic primary if you ran?
I would consider that. Absolutely, I would. All options are on the table.
I know you're going to be mad, but hey, have to follow up. Obviously, a couple months after that, maybe emotions are less raw. But I think whether you run or not, clearly you feel it. The progressive movement is a little bit in the wilderness right now. It's looking for leaders. It's looking for somebody to challenge what seems to be a continuation of the same old, same old. Have you decided on what you're doing next? Are you considering running? And if so, how would you do it?
I haven't made any decisions yet, Jordan. You didn't have to do that, although I knew that you would, knowing the way that I do. You didn't have to do that, but you went there. No, I haven't made any decisions, but you are absolutely right. If we continue on this course, not much is going to change. What this Congress and this president, by way of example, did to the rail workers to chill everybody, every worker in this country. They came for the rail workers, and that they are the personification of every other worker in this country. Voting rights went nowhere. George Floyd Policing Act went nowhere. PRO Act went nowhere. They let the child tax credit expire after pulling children out of poverty. You catapult them right back into poverty. They letting companies like Moderna get away with highway robbery, literally that drug, the drug that we use for the COVID vaccination was created by the taxpayers' dollars, but yet these fools are going to get a chance to up the price to $130 when it costs $2 and some change to make, and they were only charging the federal government about $26. They are allowing, through the lack of pushing public policies that change material conditions, this kind of suffering to go on. And so, yeah, somebody got a challenge, or a group of somebody's have to challenge. And you're right, the progressive movement is in the wilderness and they can't be there too much longer. And it does call on people, not just one person, Jordan, but a group of people who have the type of courage to continue to challenge the system. And part of challenging that system is actually running for that seat. Another way to challenge the system is to keep pushing for third parties in this country, ranked choice voting and other things that we could use as tools until we get there. The vast majority of the voters, as you know, Jordan, you have reported on this in the past, do not subscribe to the duopoly. They don't. They want another option. And especially if you ask millennials and
so far I'm liking what I'm hearing from Nina. I'm not going to apply whether it's authentic. I'm just gonna go off her words. She's saying this is how she feels. Now, do you think she seems to be talking this way more forcefully? Do you think it's because of her experience with trying to run and break in to Congress on a national level and being targeted multiple times by the Democratic Party? Or do you think this is just talk, like this is never going to materialize? So that's a question for those in the comments. I'll toss up your comments as I play more of the video. So,
and Z's, they definitely know that this is not working.
And let me ask you whether it would be you or somebody else. What are your thoughts? Because you see that so many people are, beyond done with the Democratic Party. You just went down the list of what they're not doing. I agree with you. Do you feel that, not to say nobody should ever run as a Democrat again, but do you think if you were going to do it, do you put any stock in the idea of, listen, the odds are very long that a third party candidate on this day could win the presidency, but somebody needs to start that movement on the presidential level. What do you think for that argument that we're never going to do it if nobody tries, but we know what will happen within the Democratic Party?
Well, Jordan, you know what you laid out there is exactly right. Somebody or a group of somebodies do have to start it somewhere. We know that because of the duopoly, and both duopolies answer to one master, and that's their owner donors, period. The corporate wings of both of these parties, Republicans and Democrats, are failing the workaday people of this nation, and they need options. So there are people, we got the Working Families Party, even though it's not national in nature, they're primarily in New York, they're here in Ohio, they're in different states. That to me is a really good template. We know that, and our brother Andrew Yang has started something as well. We need more people to start these kinds of things and to challenge the system. And yes, somebody is going to have to take the plunge and to run nationally as an independent. I don't think we're that far from people doing that, because people are
that part. This seems a little more. This seems further than what I've heard her say. If anybody has a clip of her saying something like this before, please, put that in the chat and I'll look at it. But I've never heard her talking in this manner of saying, yes, somebody needs to run third party, and that's, she's basically saying, I'm not sure that is too far off from now. So do you hear a more radical Nina? So are we hearing a more radical Nina right now? If you're just getting here, hit that like button. Let's listen some more. Actually, I want to hear that last part again because it's kind of big. Let's go back 40 seconds here.
Both duopolies answer to one master, and that's their owner donors, period. the corporate wings of both of these parties, Republicans and Democrats, are failing the workaday people of this nation, and they need options. So there are people, I mean, we got the Working Families Party, even though it's not national in nature, you know, they're primarily in New York,
Yeah, we don't want
Ohio,
them
they're in different states. I mean, that
propped
to
up
me
by
is
a
a really
billionaire.
good template. We know that, and our brother Andrew Yang has started something as well.
That's another bad
We
one.
need more people to start these kinds of things and to challenge the system. And yes, somebody is going to have to take the plunge and to run nationally as an independent. I don't think we're that far from people doing that, because people are disgusted. And I tell you this, if they take away, if they scale back in any way Medicare and Social Security, they're going to have a problem on their hands, the likes of which they have not seen in modern times. I really do believe that that will be the genesis to push more people to do what we see our sisters and brothers and family and friends do. Jordan, I mean, the man said he was going to up the retirement age by 2 years from 62 to 64. Millions of them took to the streets instantly. It didn't take a whole lot, because they are very cognizant of what they deserve, and that people deserve to be able to retire at an age where they still can enjoy their lives and not retire with your back broken down. See, we got to get that kind of firepower in the United States of America. And it's just going to take a few people to light that spark, Jordan. But I think we are right there as a nation. The tinderbox is right there. We got to keep pushing. And I'm certainly committed to being one of those leaders. As you know, I am a Democrat. Every office I've ran for as a Democrat, I'm a member of the DNC from the great state of Ohio. But it does not stop me from challenging these people and telling the truth about what they are doing and what they are not doing, Jordan. And at some point, the Democratic Party has to care that neo-fascism is right at our door. Neo-fascism kills you quickly. Neoliberalism kills you slowly. But neo-fascism is a product of neoliberalism. And if they don't care enough to know, why should the voters of this country continue, especially the Black voters who give the Democratic Party over 90% of our vote each and every time? And we're always called upon to save the Democratic Party when the Democratic Party systemically, Jordan, I need people to understand this. I'm not talking about individual stuff, system-wide, policy-wide, something that has generational impact, are doing very little, or if anything, other than taking to social media. We must stop as Americans, stop being complicit in our own demise and do a new thing.
I'd like to ask you, I mean, honestly, at the end of the day, whether somebody runs in the Democratic Party or a third party, you were along for the Bernie campaign. You were basically living in South Carolina, trying to elect that man. People should know you basically moved there to try to help him win South Carolina, help him win the presidency. And it's not a secret. I mean, Bernie, made decisions to go up to a certain line, but never crossed that line. One particular instance, I know Zephyr Teachout, who is a New York official activist, wrote a piece for The Guardian, just pointing out facts and basically pointing out that Joe Biden has a corruption problem, that, Bernie Sanders did not stand by that, called that out. I think that whoever runs, whether it's on the national level or Congress, Senate, there seems to be an allergy to calling the Democratic Party what it is, to calling out Joe Biden and others corruption. I don't know what you call it when you set policy based on how much money you get from certain special interests. I mean, you just mentioned Moderna. Ralph Nader has made the point. Joe Biden has the power, the emergency powers, to take the patent that we funded for the vaccine and share that formula with the rest of the world. I'm not trying to get a soundbite. I'm just asking you, will somebody call these politicians, Biden and others, corrupt?
I mean, there are people doing that. And yes, I remember what happened to Zephyr. I mean, the same thing happened to me. I stated the facts. You may remember there was a debate, and one of the debate moderators asked the senator straight up, did he agree with his national co-chair when I talked about his record of authoring the crime bill, being willing to make a grand bargain with the Republicans to chip away at. See, we've been down this.
Oh, he's gonna make a grand deal with McCarthy. That's what he's known for, making deals with Republicans. So,
before with Senator Biden. we've been down this road with Congressman Biden, with him, he wanted to make a grand bargain with the Republicans to cut Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security, and was very adamant about that thing. Authored the crime bill, is responsible for students not being able to cancel their student debt via bankruptcy, and so many other things that we can name. When then Senator Harris indicted him on the statements that he made about busing and integration, I mean, he said very clearly that he did not want his children going to school with Black children. He didn't want them in the jungle. Now, these are these man's words. So at a certain point, I mean, Jordan, you and I can go down an entire list of things that this current president has done and said while in elected office, not as a private citizen, but as a policy maker. I will state what I said before. At some point, the American people have to stop being complicit in our own demise. And yes, there are people calling out that type of corruption. But listen, some people will go all the way. We're not all wired the same in terms of how much courage one has to challenge the system. It will punish you. And we know this. I mean, look at what happened to me in my run for Congress. It is not an accident that all of those groups got together to try to crush that. Why? Because they
Somebody says she gave a similar speech at the launch or the convention for the Movement for a People's Party. I watched that. I do remember it being similar, but not quite. I think the writing is on the wall. It cannot be ignored. And I do feel like Jimmy Dore and RBN, quite frankly, have specifically has a hand in this, at least uncovering the discontentment. We didn't create it. There needed to be somebody out there saying, no, we're not doing the Democrat shit no more. There needs to be somebody saying that out here in the public space of art, because the left is very in tuned into media. So yeah, I don't know. This sounds a little different. So I feel like all of the yelling and shouting that RBN and Jimmy Dore has done and is doing about this strategy, it's breaking through to people. It's breaking through that, hey, yeah, it's come time that we can no longer, like Nina and Jordan is coming to a realization that they can no longer persuade people back to this again, no matter the candidate. They understand the hunger, but they also see how the system is set up, rigged. So that's the dilemma that they're having to deal with the realization that the people are no longer with this bullshit no more. Or the amount of people that we need to be with it, we can't achieve that. There's a growing number of people that are saying, fuck this shit, no more. And that's what it feels like, that realization. And like I said, it feels like RBN has contributed to this by uncovering that discontentment. Let's listen to some more of what Nina says here, and I'm going to take it back 14 seconds here.
One has to challenge the system, it will punish you. And we know this. I mean, look at what happened to me in my run for Congress.
Sorry, I needed to take it back longer than that. So let's go back 45 seconds here.
I will state what I said before. At some point, the American people have to stop being complicit in our own demise. And yes, there are people calling out that type of corruption. But listen, some people will go all the way. We're not all wired the same in terms of how much courage one has to challenge the system.
And I think here she is saying, because RBN forcefully pushes, and she's saying, yeah, it is time. And I hear y'all, but everybody is different. Their threshold's different. Some people may not be there yet. So that's what I'm hearing. Let's listen to some more.
System, it will punish you. And we know this. I mean, look at what happened to me in my run for Congress. It is not an accident that all of those groups got together to try to crush that. Why? Because they know when I got to that Congress, I'm not playing games with these fools, whether they Democrat or Republican. If you are mistreating the American people, I am going to call it out. If you are not using the power that the American people gave to you to help change material conditions, I am going to call it out. There's no such thing. You cannot be blindly loyal to anybody or to any entity. And as I've said before, and I will say it again, I do not worship men and women. I worship God and I serve the people. And ultimately, we got to answer to a higher power that I believe. And when you are elected to office, your job is to answer for the mamas and the papas, the big daddies and the big mamas who live in the hoods all over this country, whether those hoods are urban, rural, or suburban, who need policy help, and not to the owner donors. But both of these parties are owned. Both of them are owned at the highest level. There are grassroots people, Jordan, as you know, trying to work still within the system. And God bless those people. We need an inside game and outside game, but we cannot deny the fact that there are corrupting forces in both of these parties. And we have elected officials who are, by definition, corrupt because they answer to the moneyed interests of this country. And they say basically by what they do and do not do, the hell with the everyday people in this country.
And I want to make a point. This isn't a question, but this is a point. And I don't care if people criticize me as a Nina bro, but this is just the facts. To those who say that you lost because you didn't run scorched earth against the Democratic Party, I would say, because I was on the ground, frankly, you lost the first election because you made a comment about Joe Biden that was the truth. And they put it on billboards all over the city. And they ran ads again. I mean, I was in the hotel room, literally every 20 minutes was an ad about what you said, calling out Joe Biden, and it was all over billboards, and you lost by 4,000 votes in the dead of summer. And I would argue that's why you lost. So for those that say you didn't show courage or bravery, I think you lost because you did tell the truth about the Democratic Party. Second time.
Well, one thing, Jordan, and I'm not trying to get into a thing here. You're talking about two different events. The bowl of shit comment was pre-election. These comments in this interview is post-election. The assessment by people that she went soft was during the election. So we're not talking about the same timing here.
Second time is different, but that first time,
yeah. And the
so.
Republican Party too. I mean, I did. And basically the hell with the people who say that as well. You got a lot of people talking a lot of mess, but they will never put nothing on the line other than to be Monday morning quarterbacks and commentating on social media. If you're not in the arena, I really don't want to hear nothing that you got to say. Really. And that's honest. And I don't care if you're progressive or not. All that smack talking when you're not going to sacrifice anything about how hard somebody went or did not win. No, very few people, Jordan, go as hard as I do in the paint. And you know that you have witnessed that. I will. But that doesn't mean I always agree with every single thing that any one person or group of people say. And also, as a Black woman, I just want to let it be known, I claim my agency. So I don't care if you're a progressive, a liberal, a moderate, whatever, little country, little rock and roll. What you're not going to do is tell Nina Turner what to do, period.
Speaking of that.
So let's talk about this nonsense. This part right here is pretty nonsense. So let's not pretend, Nina, that you did not soften up your rhetoric when you began running. That's the critique. It's a fair critique and it's an accurate critique. The way you're speaking now in this interview is why people like you. You can't stifle what makes people like you and then expect the same result. People like you because of the way you speak and the manner and the words you choose when you're being fiery. That's why people like you. That person went away during the election. That's what happened. So that is just the truth. the people who were going to phone bank, the people who were going to give those extra dollars, those are the most enthusiastic people who are only going to do those things if they hear Nina Turner talking in a manner that she normally talks. Not the Democratic approved Nina Turner candidate.
I got to ask, listen, the Freedom Caucus just held Kevin McCarthy hostage. What was it, 10, 15, 20 votes? Obviously, I don't agree with the Freedom Caucus on much of anything politically, policy-wise, but I do agree, hey, play a little hardball. Bottom line, AOC, the squad, they ran on playing hardball. We know what she said, bring the ruckus to the Democratic Party. I'm not saying you need to hold the Democratic Party hostage on every single vote, on every single thing. Being a politician also means you have to compromise sometimes. But I just want to play this clip because AOC responded to the Freedom Caucus what they did. I just want to play this clip.
I see some people say, Dems should negotiate to get concessions. We do all the time. But what we don't do is bring them publicly in order to empower not just Republicans, but the fascist flank of the Republican Party. And ironically, a lot of the concessions that Kevin McCarthy, in nature, they're not the same ones, of course, but the nature of some of these concessions actually do overlap with some of the
nature of it. What the fuck does that mean? She's trying to take credit somehow? Like,
that have been the subject of private negotiations on the Democratic side. We have also negotiated for certain budgetary.
What's up, Ron?
What's going on, man? Hey, I couldn't take it, bro. Nina Turner was making me mad, man. I got it. I got to clap back at Nina, man.
You want me to rewind it to a part or just let it play?
What
part were you looking at? What part were you looking? Like, what really triggered you? What really triggered you off?
I want to go back to when Jordan was speaking on when she had lost her races, when she should have went scorched earth against the Democratic Party.
This last. Okay,
I get it. Okay. I'm like, hold on. I don't remember it like that. Maybe I smoked a lot. I am in recovery, but I don't remember it like that. I don't remember it going like that at all.
Let me see.
Cancel their student debt via bankruptcy.
Okay, so it's right.
Yeah, we can probably. Yeah.
That's honest, and I don't care if you're progressive or not. All that smack talking when you're not gonna sacrifice anything about how hard somebody went or did not win. No, very few people, Jordan, go as hard as I do in the paint. And you know that you have witnessed that. I will, but that doesn't mean I always agree with every single thing that any one person or group of people say. And also, as a Black woman, I just want to let it be known.
We can stop it right there because what she's telling us is no matter what Joe Biden would have done or the Democratic Party done to her, she would have bowed down. She don't have to agree with Biden being as harsh as he can to the Blacks and to the older communities. She's still willing to work with them. And as far as her going hard in the paint, Jordan even said, look, it was billboards of you talking shit about the Democratic Party. Okay, so if the Democratic Party going that hard against you, why didn't you go that hard against the Democratic Party? Right. Even if you was running as a Democrat. Even if you was running as a Democrat, it would have showed the people in your state and in your district that you have balls to fight against the corruption that's at the top. But what did you do? What did you do, Nina? Because I remember it differently than what you are explaining right here. I remember you bowing down and hushing up. I remember that vividly. And you said nothing. I mean, you tried to call out Chantel, but she was kicking your ass so much. There was nothing you can do with the help of the party that you're still praising. That's what I remember. So why are you on here telling these lies about, who's going to go in? It's not about what, who does what for the people. It's about doing something for the people. See, all these people, they will have you have this illusion that we are winning or losing. Nobody's on the fucking team. Nobody's on the fucking team. We all are losing. We all are fucking losing. But for Nina to sit here and act like, oh, it's still okay. Like basically what she is saying is, she's still gonna work at the Democratic Party. She said it was just like eating a bowl of shit and this and that and blah blah blah. But when it really comes to standing up and going hard in the paint, when the people needed her the most for a third party, when she had the fire from Bernie Sanders, she could have took that and just went on. But she didn't. She left us. She left us for the Democratic Party. We went left. She stayed. Right? And you can't even like, what are you gonna run on, Nina? You're horrible on the police. Your son and your husband is a police officer. How are you gonna appeal to black people during the heat of these police brutality crisis? What are you gonna say to us? My husband isn't like that. My family isn't like that. What are you gonna say? You know, none of these people can do anything for us but run a motherfucking mouth. And I love Nina. She is one of the reasons why I'm here today. But that don't mean I can't speak up on the bullshit that she's spewing right now. Because Nina could have went scorched earth. And if that didn't work, she had momentum from the scorched earth to go third party to say, look what the Democratic actually does. Look what the Democratic Party actually does when somebody tries to run. Now look how undemocratic they actually are. They pulling money and millions of dollars against one candidate. You could have educated the people and pulled people to the Green Party, pulled people independent, pulled people to the left, but you stayed and you hushed. That's not going hard in the paint to me. They ain't nowhere near hard in the paint. Right? All right then. So
I think she might be conflating things, like mixing things up when people say she didn't go hard. They're talking about her rhetoric, and she might be talking about physically getting up to do work on her campaign. Nobody's talking about that, Nina. Nobody's talking about you physically getting up and doing the campaign event and doing that. Nobody's talking about that. It's the rhetoric.
She had her chance. She missed the boat.
And then for Jordan to pretend like the bowl of shit got her in trouble. Okay, but that you can go hard in the paint without saying bowl of shit. How about just bringing up the corruption with numbers? You can bring up corruption with numbers at a church. Don't use no profanity.
She could have used that
all.
To flip those rednecks in her fucking town, to flip those white people and those fucking black Democrats, but they are conservative. She could have used that momentum to really educate and flip her people to teach them something differently, but she didn't run. Let's take it back. Bernie Sanders, after he lost and dropped out all that shit, she could have took a block of them. She could have took a block of us and was like, let's go over here. Let's do this. But I said block because she still had the momentum. We were still following her on Twitter. We still believed in her until the last fucking thing. We still by Nina until her last election. Even I did. I talked to her after her last election. So what the fuck is she talking about? You know what I'm saying? I understand that you probably brokenhearted because we're not standing by you now, and you see that the movement all broken up and people went socialist, communist, and libtard, whatever the fuck. But we had to do our own thing, and we all are doing better, really. Even the people that move right, like if we was to stay with y'all, we would have been fucked in the middle of nowhere. Look at y'all campaigns now. All these failed strategies. You lost twice. AOC lost all her powers. You know what I'm saying? Ilhan Omar just got removed. Yeah, we would have been fucked. Would have been fucked if we would have stayed with y'all. You missed the boat. Don't be mad at us because we seen it coming. We seen the tidal wave. We took the first boat out this bitch. Y'all say, oh no, that's the blue wave. We say, oh no, there ain't no motherfucking blue wave, nigga. That's not a blue wave. It's a tidal wave. You about to get washed. And what happened? They put so much money behind Chantel Brown, she couldn't even handle it. She was riding around in her little van and stuff like that. It was sad. But she could have had the people. You missed it. And I'm sorry that shit didn't work out how you planned it, but that's how it goes. Maybe you should stop compromising with people who tastes like a bowl of shit to eat, because a lot of other people aren't like, I know what you say, you're gonna be disappointed in politicians. Okay, understandable. But motherfucker, I would really like it if you would just stand up at least once, not talking about, you know what I'm saying, not just talking the shit about a motherfucker, because Kamala Harris said, I am that girl. But now that girl is the VP. So talking shit don't automatically get you kicked from these parties. You know what I'm saying? If you was really about it, dog, I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Maybe they just don't see you as a face of their party. Maybe they just don't want you around. Maybe they don't like you. Maybe it is time for somebody to run third party, Nina. Maybe it is, because she keep on saying, yeah, somebody's gonna do it. Somebody's gonna do it. Who's gonna do it? Who's gonna do it, Nina? Is this just some preaching, some random preaching, or is this your bid? Is this your bid that you throwing in for a third party? Is this your bid that you throwing in for the Green Party, the Independents, or is you just talking to get us hyped up? Because you have did this before. You have done this before. Nobody gives a fuck. We know somebody need to run third party. We know somebody need to do this and do that. Shit, we know we need a revolution. But I'm not about to sit here and act like I'm not about to sit here and talk on something that I'm not gonna do. And you talking on some shit. You saying that we're doing shit, and people who won't, you know what I'm saying, be out there and do whatever. Nigga, you won't actually do it. You won't actually stand up to the people. You won't actually stand up for the people, I should say. Where were you? Where was all this third party talk when your last election was going on? Where was that, Nina? Where was you when we needed you? Right? So don't talk about what we can and what we can't and what we won't do. Because you got millionaires backing you. You got a hell of a platform. You got Jordan, TYT. You got all these motherfuckers. There's no excuse for you people not to run third party, or at least try to push your audience towards third parties. No excuse.
And let me ask you this, Rome. No, I'm not asking you, but this is my comment on that. To that point, this last point you just made. How come none of the people? I guess this is a question. How come none of the people who really have the ability to get tens of thousands of people mobilized, none of them are willing to do it? Nina Turner, AOC, Bernie Sanders, you know how just those three combined could literally mobilize at least 1 million people, if not, physically mobilize at least 1 million people to some sort of action.
If they don't do that,
why won't they do that? Why won't they do that?
Because it'll get motherfuckers talking. Because it'll get motherfuckers, like, even if it don't mobilize people to get on the ground, it will disrupt their base. It will disrupt their base. It will get people talking from different sides that never talked before. And maybe, a lot of people feel like this is the strategy to go with because the Democratic Party isn't paying fair. A lot of people feel like they should stay under the bosom of the Democratic Party. But all of these people feel comfortable from them to their base. From them to their base, they feel comfortable. They're not actually going to challenge the Democratic Party. Like I said before, these motherfuckers are just like a thesis telling me I'm going to pray for you in the middle of a crisis. You know what I'm saying? They give money to a politician and say, I did work. I did something. I did good. I voted. It does nothing for the people on the ground. And they're not going to do anything that's going to make them uncomfortable. That gets them out of their square. Like, I swear, like, I'm not a voter. But even I know the importance of having a third party, especially for negotiation reasons. But we see we could have a third party, and they could look like Canada third parties. Just another fucking party full of liberals. It could be another party full of libertarians or Republicans, or we can take it while we can and shape it in our view, shape it to how we want. Everybody always talk about this is not the time. It's not the time. And now she's like, oh, it's about that time. No, it's been time. But the question is who and why are you the one to deliver this message if you're not the one who's going to be out there putting her name in a fucking hat for an independent party? Why talk on some shit that you're not going to do? See, I'm not going to talk about running. I might talk shit about the motherfuckers who is running. I'm not going to talk, you know what I'm saying? I'm not going to talk shit. I'm not going to be too big for my bridges, but y'all motherfuckers too big for your bridges because you're not going to run this third party. I'm not going to run this Democrat. But I ain't about to speak on, don't speak on the people, bro. We're not, you know what I'm saying? We're not politicians. These are not politicians that you're speaking to. You're speaking on a proletarian, Nina Turner. Remember that.
Why doesn't Nina want to be remembered in history as the one who finally built up a third party to destroy the duopoly? Wouldn't that be a grander thing to be remembered in history and just another leg in the clog of the political corruption? Why don't you go on a crusade across America? I'm sure you can raise money across America to get the Green Party on the ballot, or call it make the Green Party the Black Party, where you're trying to get black people right. You get what I'm saying? There's so much that can be done. Why aren't you doing that?
Money and status make you comfortable,
registering
man.
people for the Green Party, educating people. You got 2 years before the next election. Why aren't you doing it today, going door to door? You don't know what the Green Party is? You knew me as a Democrat. I'm going to run the Green Party. Let me explain what the Green Party is so you know when I run next time, you know what's up. Why aren't we doing this sort of preparation now?
And she got more than enough proof that the Democratic Party is corrupt, that they fought against her. They put money. They built the whole fucking thing for Nina Turner. Why is she not using that as leverage to pull people from this party so they won't have to vote for a bowl of shit next time, Nina? Like that's the bullshit that I be talking about, man. They sit here and talk shit about us, but she's gonna compromise with fucking Jim Crow Joe, but she talk shit and talk down on a proletarian just like a motherfucking cop. Just like a motherfucking cop would, man. And that's the bullshit that I'm talking about. And I don't give a fuck if you black or not. Cop or nigga, this is that cop mentality, man. She need to fucking, if she's not gonna run this third party, she need to shut the fuck up about it. You know what I'm saying? Because we got our people out here. I'm building a motherfucking party. We're not running. We're not playing games. We're not playing the white supremacist games, but we're still a legit party.
She just dangling the meat around, huh?
Nigga.
With this talking.
Nigga, just
preaching. Stop talking about it.
It's just preaching. It's just preaching. Because what's she gonna do? What the fuck she gonna do? She just getting out here preaching and getting people all hype again. Oh, Nina Turner might jump in. She might jump in. No, the fuck she ain't. She gonna jump in, and when she jump in, y'all gonna jump in too and be like, oh shit, this is a backdoor to the Democratic Party. The fuck?
That's exactly what they're gonna find. Let me play a little more so I can get a couple more of your comments because we actually got to get out of here. They got the JB and Savvy show in like 20 minutes. But there's a little more that she says about this part that you might want to comment on. I rewind it a little bit more, so let's listen.
And I did, and basically, the hell with the people who say that as well. You got a lot of people talking a lot of mess, but they will never put nothing on the line other than to be Monday morning quarterbacks and commentating on social media. If you're not in the arena, I really don't want to hear nothing that
is literally you.
And pause. I don't care if you
pause. That is literally you. What would $15 an hour do for you and your family? What would Medicare for All do with you and your family? Even some of you elected officials, that is nothing but you commenting on each other fucking posts, talking shit about another fucking politicians that you're going to shake hands and clap hands and hug and go to fucking country clubs with. That is you guys. That is you. And damn right that the proletarian is talking about some shit that affects their motherfucking lives. These are politicians that affect our lives. So when they write bills or they do lack of, fuck yes, we're going to have people commentating on that shit. Hell yes. What the fuck is you talking about? You forgetting the powers of the levels of power, Nina? You forgetting that just because a motherfucker got more Twitter followers or might have a more hype Twitter base than you, that's power? A motherfucker can talk shit, but them niggas can do something about it. That's the difference. That's the fucking difference. And I might be mansplaining. I shouldn't have to. I fucking shouldn't have to somebody who's been in the game for longer than 20 years. And you still trying to go with failed strategies, and you get mad at the people because they don't want to join in with your failed strategies. I'm sorry. I'm not insane anymore. I'm not going to do the same things over and over and over again and let you drag me out my motherfucking house, away from my kids and my grandson, away from my sick girlfriend, away from my family, drag me across America to lose. I'm sorry, it's not happening again. It's not happening.
Let's go.
You're progressive or not. All that smack talking when you're not gonna sacrifice anything about how hard somebody went or did not win. No, very few people, Jordan, go as hard as I do.
Okay, and then it's the rest of this you saw already.
And you know that you have.
The rest of
Ain't nobody goes hard as I went. Ain't nobody goes hard as I went. I just got fucking slaughtered in my own hometown. I just got slaughtered in the same fucking city that I've been running in for fucking years. I just got slaughtered. The people haven't learned anything new about me. I haven't done a damn thing for the people, because if I did, I wouldn't have got slaughtered like that in my own fucking hometown, because my work would have spoke for itself. Nina Turner, you got murdered in your own town. And don't blame it on people being conservative. If they're conservative, then what is your job to do? You teach the proletarian. What you didn't do your motherfucking job, nigga. So you got your ass smoked, and rightfully so. And all you motherfuckers that come in that call yourself progressives, that call yourselves whatever socialists, you're gonna meet that same treatment. You see what happened to AOC? She got her shit taken away. Ilhan Omar just got removed. Your ass got smoked. Jamal Bowman is kissing all the asses that he can because he know that he can be next. And motherfucker, there is no place for nobody like y'all. Think y'all can take over the Democratic Party? You ain't got the balls to go against the goddamn. You ain't got the balls to go against the police departments of America. You damn sure ain't got the balls to go against the FBI. You damn sure ain't got the balls to go against. Shall I say clitoris? Or shall I say titties? Wherever the fuck. You ain't got the cojones to go against the CIA. You ain't got it to go against the fucking FBI. You ain't got it to go against the fucking water departments or even Nestle. You ain't got it to go against these militias, these white militias, the military, the military industrial complex, the prison industrial complex. It is so much shit that we got to break down. There is no inside game. The only inside game is from the people. It's going to start outside and it's going to end up with us on the inside running that motherfucker. That's the only inside game that we're trying to play. We're not playing the games of these white supremacists no more. We're not giving these money. We're not giving our money to these politicians for their lies and their promises that they can't deliver on anymore. We're not giving them no more of our mind, body, and soul. No more blood, sweat, and tears unless it's for us. And damn right, I'm pissed off because we tried this before, and I'll be damned if I let my people fail again. We're not going to fail. We're not going to fail. We're going to prevail. And without them, without these motherfuckers, because they weak and they holding us back. Straight like that. So Nina Turner, respond to that and get to me on the ground, because I'll be in Ohio. I've been in your neighborhood. I see how it is. I know what they say about you. You're not there. Black people getting harassed by your neighborhood. It's probably your son. The call is coming from inside of the house, nigga. I'm done.